Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hello, this is Jackie Kashian with a very special intro to this episode of The Dork Forest. You know the websites, of course, JackieKashian.com and DorkForest.com. You know that on JackieKashian.com you can get Dork Forest merchandising. You can get my stand-up merch. You can get my new album, STAY-KASHIAN, or my new DVD, STAY-KASHIAN. All the albums, all the videos are available free streaming on some sort of Amazon or iTunes or YouTube, so you can do all that too. But if you want hard copies, go to JackieKashian.com. T-shirts, CDs, DVDs, and pins and challenge coins. There's also a Bandcamp, which is the Dork Forest. I think it's bandcamp.dorkforest.com, and that is special episodes. This episode has a special intro because I forgot to bring the recording equipment, and it was a live episode in Washington, D.C., done in early March of 2022. And Blaire Postman was so good as to be my guest. It was lightly attended, and we recorded it via voice memo. So the audio is a little dodgy, but she is an amazing guest, and you will have chosen wisely if you can listen to it. I hope you can listen to it, but the audio is different than many other episodes because of the lack of equipment. But it is in front of a live audience in Washington, D.C., and the rest of the episodes, if you go to dorkforest.com or JackieKashian.com, you can listen to all the episodes there. Feel free to donate via PayPal or Venmo, and email me if you need anything else. I'm sure there's things that I'm forgetting. I'm doing stand-up a bunch all over the country. So JackieKashian.com for those tour dates. And now let's get into the show. Welcome to the Dork Forest. Yay, it's a select audience. Woo! A select live audience here in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Should I try it in live? Should I do it?
Yeah, you should do it.
I'm signed up.
We did all this wrangling
We did a lot
stuff.
We did wrangling. So
Problems were solved.
Right, so let's do a live promotion of there's a plus and then an upload. I've done it incorrectly. Live.
It's okay.
Go live.
Oh,
there it is.
There you go.
I'm gonna move it a little bit more this way.
Oh, and then we have the thing behind us.
Oh, that's perfect. Hi.
Huh? Oh, that wasn't
Hi,
to me.
everyone. That was to everyone.
That was to everyone.
We're gonna try and do it, you guys. We're gonna try and do a live Dork Forest. Very exciting. Here we are at the DC Comedy Loft, you guys. One of the coolest stand-up comedy clubs, new clubs I've seen ever, quite honestly. It's essentially, it used to be an old beer garden, you said, right?
Yes, the Brickskeller.
Ah, the Brickskeller.
Somebody remembers. Someone said it at the same time I did.
Carol's got it. So here's a scoop, you guys. Oh, look at that. Now it's romantic. Now it's just this lighting. My guest on this week's The Dork Forest is Blaire Postman. Let's have a nice round of applause.
I'm applauding too.
Coming in at the 11th hour. And it turns out everybody has a dorkdom. And the club has chosen wisely. Because they're like, I bet you Blaire could do it. And Blaire's going to be featuring for me all weekend for the rest of the shows. And that's exciting. But I was like, well, what's your dorkdom? And she was like, it's all going to work out. Blaire Postman, by the way, Blaire with an E, and Postman is spelled like Postman, and it's at Postman Comedy on Instagram, right?
That's right.
And it's ADHDcomedy.com.
That's right.
Oh, Blaire Postman's going to have it. She's going to,
Somebody
ADHD
does not
comedy.
have ADHD. To remember.
Right. I got a different part of the spectrum. It's my neurodivergence is separate. And yet just as powerful. So, I just want to get into it.
Okay.
Because I don't understand. First of all, it's not the Superbowl itself.
No.
That is a football game.
That is a football game of which I know very little and care a little bit less.
Okay. Now,
in between the game.
Yes.
There's a halftime show.
There is.
You enjoy that part of the game.
I am fascinated. I don't know if enjoy is all the time, but I am
Super Bowl
fascinated.
halftime shows, you guys.
The history of Super Bowl halftime shows.
How long have they had Super Bowl halftimes? Do you know?
Well, oh yes, I do. As a matter of fact. So
hi TikTok. By the way, we are pushing this live to TikTok because I don't know if the video will go.
So I guess I should preface that when I first started comedy in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay.
Long story. I've been a lot of places. I've done a lot of stuff. We started a podcast with a couple comedians and my sports stat expert husband.
Okay.
And it was called My Fantasy Wife. And because it was started on like fantasy football leagues and stuff.
Oh,
and he
looking
knows
for attributes from different wives.
Well, it just fantasy football sports. It seemed like a fun name.
Okay, fair enough.
And the conceit was that he knew everything about sports, like real sports, like stats, back of a baseball card kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I liked everything, like stories, like at ESPN 30 for 30, fantastic. I love that. Movies about boxers are fascinating because if you had to box your way out, you have got a story to tell.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the stat stuff, so I would go in and find pop culture things.
Okay, you like the drama behind the
Yes,
sport.
I like the drama behind the sports.
Okay.
And so we were doing an episode around one of the games, the Super Bowl matches.
Yep.
And I just became riveted. I was looking for something to talk about, and I became riveted going down a YouTube rabbit hole looking at the past Super Bowl halftime shows.
When did they start?
The first Super Bowl was in 1967.
That was the first Super Bowl.
Yes, and the first halftime show.
Oh,
I have since, I'm just going to preface this, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I have since learned a lot after making fun of this for years, sort of gentle, loving fun. I have learned so much about the first Super Bowl halftime show producer, and he's amazing, and it's amazing. But the first Super Bowl produced by Tommy Walker.
Tommy Walker, ladies and gentlemen.
Who is a fascinating character, was 1967. It was in Los Angeles, and there were others, but it was primarily the Grambling State University marching band, another marching band, and jazz trumpeter Al Hirt.
Al Hirt, H-U-R-T.
H-I-R-T.
H-I-R-T.
New Orleans, who I later found out was at the time the music director for the hottest show on TV back then, which was the Green Hornet. You are shaking your head in knowing this.
Ryan knows things.
Oh my God, Ryan. And so it was actually big deal people, but none of us have heard of them now, or some jazz aficionados.
Two like college football marching bands.
Yes, and Grambling State University marching band, I always say, they are the heroes of the story of the early Super Bowl halftime shows. They're great.
Right, because they can spell
But
words,
they can only do so much.
They can make a flower bloom. What happened? What did they do?
They were, in the first one, there were guys in jetpacks. Jetpack guys. There's a whole background, because he went on to produce other big things, of Tommy Walker, the producer, using jetpack guys, just flying around the stadium. He produced the 1984 Olympics, which you may or may not remember was in Los Angeles, and also had big opening ceremonies, which Tommy Walker produced. Guess what? Jetpack guy. But not only a jetpack guy, the same jetpack guy who was in the first Super Bowl halftime show. We could just talk about that forever, but yeah.
Well, so first of all, jetpacks. We've been waiting for jetpacks. Who knew that there's
Apparently
already jetpacks?
the technology has not moved forward very quickly.
Okay, so there are still there are jetpacks, is what you're telling me. And there's at least one guy who has twice used a jetpack professionally.
Right.
Something.
Right. In association with Tommy Walker Productions.
I want a jetpack. Don't you?
We all want a jetpack.
Right, okay.
Let's what we were promised in the 70s, and none of us have one.
I think it was the 50s, and and I have to say that air traffic control would be very complicated. I'm not saying that there isn't a problem.
There are probably complications.
So now, Mr. Hirt, the trumpeter.
Yes.
Okay,
who we will see again. I mean, not to ruin it for everyone, but yes.
Foreshadowing.
Right.
Okay. All right, so that's 67.
Right, that's 1 year.
That's 1 year.
I mean, I don't know. Do you want me to run through the ones quick?
Yeah, run through them, and then I will cherry pick what I want to hear.
Okay, I'll run through. First, we'll do the ones that I talk about a lot and know a little bit better, like the early.
Love it.
Because I always say, if you don't know your Super Bowl halftime show history, you're doomed to repeat it. Like it's not all Beyonce, guys. It's not all Beyonce.
I can't express to you how I don't think you made that up. But
I have appropriated it for a not very meaningful purpose.
I love it though.
So 1967, 1968, it was just Grambling State University Marching Band, but that means they were the headliners that year. That means they crushed it the year before. Exactly. That's a promotion good for them.
Rebooked.
Right. 1969, now we're in Miami. It's Florida A&M Marching Band.
Good.
And then just a bunch of high school marching bands.
Oh.
Terrible.
Oh, no.
I'm not harshing on these kids. Now, sometimes they have guests and there's other people. I'm giving you sort of what the highlights or lowlights, whatever you want. Okay. So, 1970.
Right.
New Orleans. The big headliner act is our friend, I don't know who we're looking at, is our friend Carol Channing.
What?
Carol Channing. As I like to say, even in 1970, she was 105 years old.
Right, that's so weird.
Yes. So Carol Channing. And then 1971, this is important. And someone you know is associated with this. Someone I think you know.
Okay.
1971, so we're 5 years in.
Pat Sajak.
No.
Okay.
5 years in.
Okay.
Right? We're back. I think we're back in Miami.
Okay.
And it is Up With People. Up with people. Someone's saying yes.
Who is that?
My cousin was in it.
Oh my God. Okay, this happens 1 out of 5 shows where I do this bit. Someone has it. Okay. Up With People was a huge singing and dancing troupe made up of 1,000 ultra clean-cut, mostly white kids between the ages of 18 and 22. There's a documentary on them that suggests that they were tied in with Monsanto and like the Nixon administration. And they used to yes, it's just a 70s conspiracy theory weird thing. And they used to force them on us at big events like the Super Bowl for years and years.
Okay.
And they were like a cross between the Mouseketeers and like Hitler Youth.
Oh,
and they would do like elevator music versions of AC/DC songs.
Okay.
Now, they then later, we'll meet them again.
Oh.
They later would fold. They went bankrupt.
Okay.
Like in the 80s.
Okay.
Maybe mid-80s. And then they reconstituted, and they seemed like they got their act together a little bit more. And a comedian based in Los Angeles, who I think you know, was in the reconstituted, much more respectful. I would never make fun of this. Up With People.
Jay Leno. Wait, who?
No, not that. Winter Spears.
Winter Spears was in Up With People?
Yes, I have interviewed her about it.
Winter Spears. Also on the Dork Forest public restrooms.
Who is that? That's a great one.
That's her dorkdom. Anyway.
And I'll be listening to that on the ride home. But and she's
she was in the 1970s.
No. It's reconstituted.
She's not 100 years.
No. It's reconstituted like 90s on version of Up With People. Weird. And Glenn Close is their famous person. Ma'am, you probably, if you have a cousin or anyone in it, they probably told you that about their famous person who was Glenn Close.
Yes.
Their famous alum. Yes.
Okay.
I like to get
Glenn Close is the famous alum.
Is the famous alum.
And Winter Spears will be
famous. And yes, and coming hot on her tail is Winter Spears.
Chicago stand-up comic now of Los Angeles.
And she's a wonderful person and very funny. Winter with a Y if you want to follow her on Instagram, etc.
There you go.
And so 72.
72.
We're back. It's Carol Channing and jazz trumpeter Al Hirt together in New Orleans. Together.
They have a real shallow booking.
Where's that? There's a theme. There are themes, right?
It's like this. It feels like cronyism at some point.
Well, we're gonna take
I know Carol Channing.
Yes.
She knows
and look,
her.
and we're not making fun of Carol Channing.
Oh no. This
right?
is
She's done more than I will ever hope to do.
Oh, Carol Channing.
And she only passed away a couple years ago.
She's a national treasure.
Right.
Okay.
And so Carol Channing and Al Hirt together in New Orleans. In 1973, it was, this movie star, who's a very lame movie star. Blah, who cares? Nobody. Okay, we don't care.
Oh my God.
I can't remember his name because I don't talk about him very much. He's very boring.
Fair enough.
It'll come to me in like the 90s. You know, it'll come to me later on. I just turned 52. I'm allowed to have like a little space.
Do whatever you need.
And then I know I look amazing, guys. 1974, they go to Houston, Texas, and it's the University of Texas Longhorn Marching Band,
right?
And their like headliner is Judy Mallett, Miss Texas 1973 on a fiddle. She was never even Miss America.
What?
And she's a year out of Texas.
Yeah.
A year out of like office of Miss Texas. And that's nepotism awful.
Yeah.
Like awful.
Right, well, you gotta go local. I get that.
I mean, sure, but it's Texas. It's a big place.
Right, it's one of the biggest. Ask somebody in Texas.
Just ask them.
They will let you know. So, So this is 74.
This is 74.
And
in
it's
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Who is the...
Judy Mallett.
And the other?
It's the University of Texas Longhorn Marching Band.
Is there always a marching band?
For a long time, there was always a marching band.
Okay. That makes sense.
Into the 80s, at
because
least.
I was in marching band, and we
Middle
did,
80s.
and we.
My husband was in marching band.
What did he play?
He played like all the percussion instruments and the travel marimba, whatever they called that.
Oh like a xylophone kind of thing.
Yes.
Sure. Those were my only friends.
Well,
in high school were the two guys who were the percussionists.
He's also super into Lord of the Rings and things. You probably should meet.
Oh,
but yes.
Yeah, we're already friends.
Yeah, we're already best friends.
Yes,
I think
it's all working out.
And so, that's awful. Like that one in Texas is
74 is
terrible.
bad, not good.
74 is bad. So we're in 1975. We need someone to bring it back.
Bring it back.
Where
are we?
To like some dignity. We're back in Miami, I believe. Grambling State University Marching Band comes back, which is fine. It's a big upgrade from the year before.
Right, and everybody loves it.
1976, bicentennial of the nation.
That's right. 1976, bicentennial.
Yes.
We had a contest, Southwest Wisconsin, paint a fire hydrant.
Yes.
Did you guys have a paint a fire hydrant contest?
I tell hey, Gen Z, it was a big deal. There was a parade every day. Right. So, 1976, and we're back in Miami. Up with people.
Up with people's
right, because
we're back.
That says melting pot of America.
Oh, God. Super wet.
In spandex doing jazz hands.
Okay.
1977.
Wow.
I mean, I just jump in here anytime.
Yeah,
okay.
No, yeah.
1977, we're back. We're in the Rose Bowl, basically LA.
Right.
And it's the Los Angeles Unified All-City Band, which is a bunch of like high school students in band programs all over LA County. Ryan, you're just nodding your head. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit.
No,
like I'm
he's on your side.
because I know why I know. But but it was fronted by a bunch of child actors who are going to be the brand new Mouseketeers on the new Mickey Mouse Club, on the new Disney, like all that stuff, cable, all that's new in 77.
Yeah.
And I always like to say it was fronted, their biggest star was Lisa Whelchel, who went on to play Blaire on The Facts of Life.
Wow.
Making her the most important pop culture Blaire until I become famous for doing that bit. Okay? And then it's a long way to go to self-reference myself.
No, but well played though.
1978, back in New Orleans, Al Hurt. There's some other people, but he's the guy.
Right.
1979 is in Miami.
Yeah.
And it's like, I forget the exact title they give this amalgam band, but it's Ken Hamilton and various Caribbean bands. And it's so awful. Like, there are no, like, straight-on, in-focus, like, pictures of the halftime show, like, anywhere on the internet. Which means it was a very bad show.
Nobody thought to capture it.
No, you know what? We're just going to let this one go.
Yeah.
And then 1980.
Yep.
New decade. Mm-hmm. Excited?
I'm excited.
It's Grambling State University Marching Band and Up With People together.
Oh, finally.
Together.
Finally.
Right. Up With People and Grambling State. That would have blown your minds, guys. Blown everyone's mind.
Yes.
And then we had 1981, and it was Helen O'Connell billed as the quintessential big band singer of the 1940s.
Really?
Back in New Orleans. And when I mention this in a bit, I do say that it's the chick you get when Carol Channing's already been booked elsewhere that year. So,
is Carol Channing singing at these things?
yes, she's singing.
Okay.
She's singing. She's a show woman. You know,
Right,
she's
it's
done
a
Broadway. She's done the whole thing.
Right. So it's a show.
I can't even. I almost went off on a Carol Channing tangent, which we don't need. Okay, and then so 1982.
I feel like there's at least 47 hours of Dork Forest inside of you.
There's so
need
many.
to come out.
I have a lot of flip chart bits, and they're not even about humor anymore. They're just about stamina. No, it's just about getting it out. In 1982. So I'm going to give a little detail on this one. I know a little bit more about. 1982. So we're 15 years in now.
Yeah.
And this one it's not in New Orleans or LA or Miami.
Uh-oh.
It's in Pontiac, Michigan, which is basically Detroit if you're from New Jersey, which I am. And so, but to me, that's basically Detroit. And the theme is, in part, a salute to Motown.
Right.
They used to have themes. All the shows had themes for a long time.
Sure.
Instead of anything else. And so it was a salute to Motown in Detroit. Who's the headliner? Who do you think it is? Is this where we turn it around?
Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Up with People.
Oh, shit.
Up with People. That's who said Motown to the NFL. Now, that's the part that I cover.
That's insane.
It's so insane. It's not the most insane.
No.
So that's the part that I cover, like, you can't, this is already way too, you can imagine, when you show up to a flip chart, with a flip chart to a comedy club and nobody knows you, and you're like this, like newbie, middle-aged, like lady comic with a flip chart, like everyone's thrilled.
There's usually a middle-aged dude with a PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Right,
no one,
you're right. Somebody who's stand up in the early 40s, it's usually there's a flip chart or a PowerPoint.
There's something, right. It's right.
Like a guitar comic.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? And no one's like, but it does pretty well, but still you gotta cut it off.
Okay.
So those are the dates that I usually cover. And people say, Blaire, do you know anything else? I go, yes, of course I do.
Right, we're 1980. It's a new decade.
We're 1982.
Oh, are we?
That was up with people doing the salute to Motown.
Salute to Motown.
Oh, Jackie. Am I exhausting you? We can stop.
83.
Do you want to have a sip of something?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
So, I can't, because the thing is there's another 40 years.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. So, in 1983, oh gosh, I can't quite remember who was 1983. Okay. 1984, it's just marching bands again. They've just gone back to marching bands.
Right.
You know what? Let's just go back to our roots. Just marching bands. 1985, Tops in Blue, which I think is like the Blue Angels were like. It's an airplane? No, I think it's like the military marching band.
Oh, fair enough.
It's another marching band. It's just not a college. 1986. We're up with People again. And they're back. They're back again. They lasted, guys, they've been in halftime shows from 1971 now through 1986. That is 15 years with Up With People.
Nobody's 22 anymore.
Nobody's 22. No, they filter them through. You graduate, you go out, they tour the world, then they get new, fresh recruits all the time.
Okay. All right.
It's literally hundreds of people in like spandex doing jazz hands in unison together on the football field. It's not like 10 people.
To recorded music or to the marching band?
It seems recorded to me since there's like they have albums and they have a theme song which maybe we should get
as albums.
Yes, and like up with People, the nicest people you know or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing and it exists. That's all I can tell you. And so I believe since there are literally hundreds of them on the field at once, I believe that it is recorded in advance. And they are mouthing the words, I guess. And they're doing dances and stuff.
Okay, so
and
that's
then,
86.
And then, now, okay, so we're still in the
Berlin Wall.
Now let's give some context. It's 1987.
Okay.
I was 17. And
I was 21.
I had gotten my driver's license, or whatever.
I had not yet gotten my driver's license.
And so, in 1987, we have Grambling State University Marching Band again, and they're in more modern, because they're fantastic, they're great, but they can't carry everything. And so 1987, the theme, I mean, they can only do so much. And so, the theme is a salute to Hollywood.
Oh, salute to Hollywood.
Right. And so this is around the time where corporations start taking over the production of the halftime shows.
And they're buying all
right.
This
and
is
so
when they started buying all of the spaces.
Yes.
Too, right?
And so Disney, I believe, is the producer here. And Disney is doing a salute to Hollywood. And it includes, here's a rip-roaring halftime show for you guys. Mickey Rooney, George Burns, and who also was already, very old already, 1987, and Disney characters.
Wow.
There might have been somebody else on the dais with them, like a throw. In one of these, like not Etta James. Who is it? There are people in these throughout. They'll just throw people on there, but there are legit talented people, but they're like the fourth person from the left, and it's chaos, and there's no meaning, and you never really hear or see them say. So 1988. I don't know what the theme is, but it's Chubby Checker, who is still alive, by the way.
Oh, he lived well into the 2000s.
Chubby Checker. No, he's still alive. I can tell you right now. I looked it up for another bit about Schoolhouse Rock.
Thank God. Chubby Checker's still alive.
Chubby Checker, as of the last I heard in the last 4 months. Okay. The Rockettes, and people playing 88 grand pianos on the field.
You know why? Because it was 1988.
It was 1988.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that that's why they picked 88.
You know what?
Yep.
That never fucking occurred to me until this minute. You might be right. And aren't there 88 keys on a piano keyboard?
Yeah, there are.
Oh, this is like becoming a whole weird conspiracy theory thing.
Because Ryan nodded. And he was like, yeah.
You know what?
Ryan, I believe in him, actually.
Ryan, I am just going to take all of my cues in life from you going forward. You're going to need to follow me around.
All right.
But in a fun way, not a creepy way. 1989 is a guy named Elvis Presto. And...
Elvis Presto.
Presto, like...
Presto.
Yes, like Presto.
Okay. All right.
And Elvis Presto is, maybe not surprising, all done up and moving around like he's an Elvis impersonator.
Okay.
But guess what? He's also a magician, guys. He's also a magician, and there's some
His
weird...
name is Presto. What do you want out of him?
Yes, right, Presto. Bam. And there's something about somehow people of cards... And there's it's up on the Jumbotron, which is your card.
Thank God. He's doing up-close magic.
Totally not up close. No, totally not up close. Up close magic.
In a stadium.
In a stadium that nobody wanted. Nobody wanted. No one asked for.
Wait, this is 89?
This is 89. Think about how far we... Look, Ryan is getting exhausted and stressed. Think about how far we are in. We're 22 years in. We're 1989. There's all the 60s and 70s bands. Most of them are still alive.
I don't want to push you. But here's what I do. When did they finally...
We're getting there. Everyone wants to know.
We do want to know.
Everyone always asks me that
because
after
sometimes they're amazing.
Right. We're just going to have to trust the process.
I will. I'll trust the process.
I have no business saying that here. In 1990... It's a guy named Pete Fountain. I forget who he is, but it's a guy.
He invented the fountain pen.
Okay, great. Good for him. 1991, it's Disney who's producing it again.
They're back.
But see if you see a theme. It's 1991. They have New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
All right, except then it's all Disney characters dancing around, and also they do another card stunt. Apparently Disney likes this close-up magic that is in a stadium. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense.
I'm surprised Fozzie Bear has not been trotted out.
Fozzie Bear would be a massive upgrade into a lot of this.
on Disney yet.
And you can watch them on right. They don't own Disney yet.
Good point.
There's Scott. You know what? This is like crowdsourced information and possible tags to a future second half of a bit thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the Dork Forest with Blaire Postman. It is Postman Comedy at Instagram. My name is Jackie Kashian. You're listening to the Dork Forest. Thank you so much. I hope this gets recorded. And Patrick Brady
I feel pretty good about it right now.
Okay, go.
One of these will record.
91?
At 90. No, now we're 92.
Ooh.
Right, 91. Right, we did 91. That was New Kids on the Block and Disney with another cartoon.
That's right.
92. This is, I think, it's hard to choose, but in the early ones you can almost forgive. Like, if they were new, they didn't have their sea legs under them. It was a different time.
It was 30 years.
1990. No, I'm saying I can forgive. No, I'm saying like I get 1967, 68.
Right, 77.
But now we're in
87.
1992. I think this may be the worst one ever.
25 years in.
25 years in, which is
Their
it's
25th
held in Minneapolis, which is a place you know.
And I love it.
And it was Winter Magic, a salute to the Winter Games that were going to come up. So somebody who had something to do with making money off the Olympic Games.
Right.
They put out an ice rink on the field.
Yeah.
And Brian Boitano and Dorothy Hamill.
Oh, wait.
Someone remembers it?
Yeah.
And they skate. And then also Gloria Estefan is there.
Wait, this sounds amazing.
No, it's not.
Oh, damn it.
It's not amazing. Then, like, the 1980 U.S. gold medal hockey team kind of comes out, sort of.
Right.
And they're all just kind of standing on the ice. And then Gloria Estefan, who, by the way, is in an enormous number. She's not going to be listed. It's Gloria Estefan, whether alone or with her band, are in a number of halftime shows, more than you would ever imagine. But also, I just think it's interesting since she's associated with Miami and Heat, and then she's at the Winter Festival.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is she an Up With People?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She's on her own as an adult. Now,
She started Up With... Okay, go ahead.
also in 1992 is the first year that someone tries to counter-program versus the Super Bowl, in particular, the halftime show. And Fox, the new upstart, then innocent-sounding...
Simpsons. Yep, that was their...
Right.
Yep.
But what they counter-programmed with was In Living Color. And it was a huge hit. It blew the halftime show out of the water.
Of course.
And so now...
There was thought.
Right. They're like, oh, wait. People don't just have to watch us.
Right.
And we're going to lose commercial advertising dollars.
Oh, yeah.
We might need to do something.
Had to regroup.
So the next year, 1993, Michael Jackson.
Oh, shit.
Michael Jackson,
They went to the
before any
bank.
problems or anything.
No.
This is also Pepsi. This is the first year that Pepsi, which still, it's
93.
not literally every year since, but Pepsi, I believe, did this year's halftime show as well. They start bringing in people who know something about audiences and music.
And entertainment.
Yes. And other than close-up magicians. I know some close-up magicians. They're lovely. They shouldn't do the halftime show.
No. I will sit and watch close-up magic for hours.
Right.
Derek Hughes, who has been on this program.
Is it Ben Seidman?
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm with him, I'm just like, we make a coin disappear. Just do it. And then he will.
Do it again.
And then do it again. And then do it again. I really enjoy up close magic a great deal.
Now it's kind of like a battle for good and evil for a few years. Like they keep slipping back and going forth. Like what's gonna win? Are we gonna go back to the old
Carol Channing back?
Are we gonna go back again? No, like 1984. It's like country,
94.
like Clint Black and the Judds and stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, so they don't know what to really go for. But Michael Jackson, did it blow the ratings? Did it keep the ratings?
Yes, he blew it out of the water.
That's
it was
awesome.
amazing. But I do not believe it was the best one ever.
Okay.
That will come later.
Okay, 95.
If we have time. I have time, but I'm not sure everyone else does. 1995, they do this weird, whoever was the producer of Indiana Jones movies, I guess produced this halftime show to plug the new Indiana Jones movie, whatever that was, in 1994. And they brought out, I think it was that, no, it was the new, I think it was one that started with River Phoenix as the young Indiana Jones.
The TV show.
Okay. I think it was a movie.
No, it was TV.
I think it's when they came back. Look, Ryan.
The thing is the Holy Grail one had River Phoenix.
But yeah, Young Indiana.
Okay, Young Indiana Jones was a TV show.
Guys,
doesn't matter.
I think we can all disagree it was not the prime time Indiana Jones. And so, Indiana Jones, and they do this weird thing where, like, there's actors, but they can't get Harrison Ford, and they can't get the real actors. So it's like other actors pretending to be in an Indiana Jones, like, we got the rock and we slid down the slide and now it's an adventure, and there's just random music going.
That doesn't sound fun.
It's terrible.
Okay.
It's terrible. And then 1980, I told you, there's a battle for good and evil.
Right.
1996, Diana Ross.
Holy shit.
Right? Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. 1997.
Let me sit up. Yes.
But you can see where the battle comes in. So 1993, Michael Jackson. 94, country music. But I think they were pretty good. I'm not the world's expert. They were, it wasn't Garth Brooks, but it was other people you've heard of.
Okay.
And 1995, they do this weird Indiana Jones like cosplay thing. And then 1996, Diana Ross. 1997, they do another weird movie tie-in, inappropriate, like weird, oh, look, guys, and it's an adventure on the field with Dan Aykroyd, Jim Belushi, and John Goodman doing the Return of the Blues Brothers or whatever that sad other movie where they tried to replace. And they're running. I mean, these guys were in it. These are people with careers. These are people in it. And
they're comedy careers.
Well,
so they were completely
available. Fair.
Right. So, like, for $12,000.
I would do this. I would do this just for tickets.
Dan Aykroyd would do it today.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, anyway, okay.
So, then...
97?
There's 97. For some reason, I didn't even write down 98 and 99 because they were just too sad.
Okay.
Then you get to 2000.
2000,
they start doing these amalgams. And they have Christina Aguilera, Toni Braxton,
okay,
Phil Collins, Enrique Iglesias.
That's a weird mix.
So it's not about the performers. It's about not all things go together. Not all things support each other.
Right. Some of these things, yeah.
It's more like they haven't gotten it down. 2001, I didn't write down for some reason, but I'm sure it was really good. No, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding. It wasn't. Where they really start to come back is 2002 with U2. You know what? 2001, I just remembered. It's Aerosmith and Britney Spears, yes!
And Backstreet Boys.
Oh, yes, that's right.
The audience has chimed in, you guys.
I want everyone to know that we're doing this without the internet. We're not Googling this. It's just coming to us.
All of the internet.
It's group
Britney Spears.
Which was not as bad as it could have been. It was pretty good. No, Britney Spears, though, this is what I mean. This is another thing. Britney Spears was like an add-on. They barely let her do anything.
Okay.
Right. So then 2002, it's after 9/11. I'm not joking about that, but it was actually very poignant. It was U2, and they were great. And there's a scroll. It was a tribute. It was actually not as disgusting as that could have been.
Right, it sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible, but it was very plain.
And
Bono cares about people, and it was all right.
Bono cares.
It was there was no like fireworks. There was none of that kind of silliness.
No.
But here we go with the weird guests again.
It does sound like a bummer in the middle of the summer.
It was
Superbowl.
It was. I think we were all bummed though. Like we were all still pretty bummed out.
Okay.
Yeah. The Afghanistan war and everything had only started a little while earlier.
Okay.
It was. I don't think they were bringing the bummer. We were all bummed.
Right. We were bummed. We were just all holding hands. And, I get it.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
Barely. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And 2003. This is a twist on the why is that a guest? Okay, Shania Twain. All right, she was record-breaking sales.
She's a big deal.
No doubt. Okay, I don't see them go together, but okay.
No, all right.
And then their guest, Scott, is Sting. How is he the guest? Why is he? I know, but why is Sting a guest?
It's the label.
But how come he's
a book
guest?
Well, they have.
Because he wouldn't do the whole show.
No, please. He's there. The whole thing's like 10 minutes. Listen, Scott.
How long is a half hour? How long is a half hour?
No, it's like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
They're always short.
I want you to know, again, I'm going to say this. I said this before. I know why I know it's 12 minutes, but I don't know why you guys know. Because it's not like we,
they've come to see the Dork Forest.
Right,
The
exactly.
things that they know
Knew their audience.
will fill buildings.
Right.
Buildings and buildings. Yes. The
So-
random fun fact. Yes.
2004,
Yes.
that's the one with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake and the wardrobe malfunction. Here's what makes me angry.
2004.
Actually, lots of things make me angry, but here's what makes me angry. Skipping ahead, they bring 2018, they bring Justin Timberlake back. And I'm not saying he's like the biggest monster in the world or whatever, but you know what? Janet Jackson got nothing but shit. Like, that was her fault.
Right.
And Justin Timberlake gets asked back. You know what? Janet Jackson, if y'all remember the 90s, which you clearly do, is like, had the huge control and all those songs. She could carry a halftime show, and they have never had her back. And as amends, I believe they should.
Nicole Levy episode of The Dork Forest, Janet Jackson.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So,
that's yes. But hey, listen, Samir. We're now being I'm being heckled by the manager of the club.
manager.
Yeah.
But here's a question: is Justin Timberlake in 2018 came back and did the halftime show?
Yeah.
Was he shirtless?
I don't remember.
Because
I just remember thinking,
nipples, people don't care about nipples when they're on men. It's very.
Oh yeah. Well, that's your problem. 100%.
Yeah, their nipples are nipples, you guys. Not a huge surprise.
No.
I mean, something's just on something that's.
I've never nursed a baby with my nipples. Does that mean I can? Okay. What are the rules?
All right. What are the rules?
Okay.
Well, it seems to be.
2004 and 5. I can't remember off the top of my head, but because. Oh no. Okay. Because the very best for me. There's been a couple other good ones. The very best one to me is Prince, 2007.
Oh.
When, among other things,
I can't believe he did it.
it begins to rain towards the end of the halftime show as he is singing Purple Rain, and it seems like Prince coordinated this with God. It is perfect.
Is this in Minneapolis?
Is it in Minneapolis, Scott or Ryan? I don't believe so. No.
Carol might know.
Years before were the Who and Tom.
Look, we're gonna know after. Just don't get ahead of me, Scott. This is all I have. You've got all kinds of good stuff. This is it for me.
After Janet Jackson, there was a whole safe white guy movement.
There's a whole exactly. Oh, that's what it was. Paul McCartney. Yes,
movement.
that's right. 2005 was Paul McCartney, and 2006 was someone along those lines.
Yeah.
Not yet. Wait for it, guys. Wait for it, guys. Guys, you're naming all the things, but you gotta let me do my stuff.
Because where are we? 2008?
2008. Tom Petty. You have it right,
there we go.
ma'am.
2009?
2009. Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
Right. I'm a little surprised it took him that long, but he probably didn't, because they don't pay them technically. They only paid the dancers running around the bottom of the field this year was the first year. They pay everything else, though. The manager's fees, all the expenses, luscious, accommodations, everything. That's why usually now you get them when they're trying to promote an album.
This is a huge, this is the highest level of, it's the exposure.
With a record, but you know the joke about, of course, exposure in comedy is like a running joke.
It is a running joke.
People never want to pay you for comedy, and you get it in exposure. Right.
The fact that Prince would work for exposure.
Well, I feel like they have math about how in the week to 2 weeks after a Super Bowl, the record sales go up X amount.
Okay.
And often they have an album or something to promote.
It's about the sound exchange money?
This is pre that.
All right. Strictly Bandcamp.
Pre that. Right. 2009, Bruce. We're coming to the home stretch, kids.
Right.
2010, The Who, they were terrible. It was unfair to them, in my opinion. They were much too old and out of practice, and they sounded awful. And it was not a good situation.
That's interesting that they would do that because that was after that trampling, right? So you wouldn't think that they would have them with crowds.
Well, there's not festival seating at the at the. You're not the only one who saw that WKRP in Cincinnati episode
I did
or
not.
lived through that time.
I
I'm
swear
so
to God,
glad
I
that
thought
all
they
of
could
us
fly.
know what WKRP in Cincinnati is.
Yes, and how sad is it? Now here's what here's a jokey fun fact. Fun fact is that they can't re-show the WKRPs in Cincinnati in syndication because all of the music was real, and because they wanted to do the real music, and they won't pay the rights in syndication.
I watch the Turkey one every year. Okay.
All right.
2011, Black Eyed Peas. Now, I'm not. Yes, you would think, and I'm not the expert on the Black Eyed Peas, but it was resoundingly panned for whatever reason. They just weren't. They had a really bad off night.
Was not beloved.
Yeah. 2012, Madonna. I believe she did well, but people didn't love it, and there's probably a lot of reasons why.
Bitches, man. That's why. Why are bitches allowed back on stage?
But speaking
when she was back
of lady singers,
yes,
2013, Beyonce.
Oh,
great with her. Oh my God, what was
that one?
With
Was
her,
Child.
yes, with Destiny's Child. It was amazing. It was amazing.
It was supposed to be epic, right?
It was epic, and it was.
Okay.
It was.
So Prince and Beyonce, the two best so far, in your opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember Bruce Springsteen. He doesn't need much. He was probably good.
He's fine.
He doesn't need much.
He doesn't, you know what I mean? He needs a bandana and a guitar, and he's fine.
Right.
Okay, in 2014, Bruno Mars. Also, quite a showman.
Yeah.
Did quite well.
And that was 2014 was a hit.
Yes.
All right. Did he sing that thing about the Vespa? No, we don't know.
I don't know.
Let's never ask me about music again.
I mean, we're getting to, like, 2015. Do you guys know 2015, Ryan? Come on, Ryan. It's so famous.
That Maroon 5 and...
Katy Perry and Left Shark.
Oh, Left Shark.
What is that?
How do you guys don't see? We're clearly now out of the music range of this audience and ourselves.
Who is that?
Katy Perry. Did I say Katy Perry?
Yeah.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
And the Left Shark. Remember, it was a big thing, guys. Sometimes
Were
it's the
people
only thing.
in? Were people in?
Oh, she did a good job, but there was a goofy guys dressed up as like playful sharks in a beach scene, and one of them went a little rogue, but not in a mean way. He was just kind of not on time with the music or whatever. He was doing his own thing. He was clearly living his own
different
life.
drummer. Different
drummer. 2016 though is Coldplay. Awful. However,
I get
this is
Wilco
where
mixed up.
this is the revenge of the guests, because the guests where they knew, they must have seen like a run through dress rehearsal and known it was going to be a problem, because they bring in Bruno Mars and Beyonce as guests. They steal the show like nobody even remembers Coldplay was on it.
Okay.
Now 2017, Lady Gaga.
Oh wow.
Pageantry.
Yeah.
2018, Justin Timberlake. We sort of covered that.
Right.
2019,
COVID.
That's Maroon 5. Not yet. That's Maroon 5, and that's with the whole Colin Kaepernick. You know, a lot of people were boycotting. They didn't want to perform.
Oh,
and I
right.
think Maroon 5 was like...
Yeah, wasn't it in Atlanta, too? And they were like, this is the
worst?
This is the...
Atlanta?
Scott's been on this podcast as much as I
Atlanta
have.
music.
No one has.
Again, it was like Detroit.
I don't remember, but I'm guessing you are correct.
It was like Detroit,
Just because
same thing, and
if you feel that, like, sure about it, you're probably
I
right.
didn't even see it, so...
You just know it's secondhand.
Maroon 5. Okay.
2020, Shakira and J-Lo. Very good. It's very, very good.
And it's so interesting. Shakira's back.
Yes.
I have a Shakira album from the 12th century, and it was amazing. Clearly, she's still working, much like the rest of us.
Yes, right, exactly.
Good for her, but she's with J-Lo.
And they're together.
Okay.
And 2021, it's The Weeknd, which I hated.
Was that Samir? I think
Samir liked it. I'm going to listen to songs, because I do get asked about halftime show from friends.
Okay.
and Scott.
So what do you do? Do you listen to them the next day? Do you just...
No, I watch it.
Oh, in real time.
I watch it in real time. I mean, my husband's watching. We're watching Super Bowl anyway. It's on.
It's on.
And so I watch
people
it.
just watch the commercials.
Yeah. Oh, I do that too.
Okay.
I watch commercials too. And then, so 2021, the weekend. We're in the middle of the pandemic. It's before any of us really got, like most of us, got any vaccines, and it was just like a dystopian nightmare.
Oxford,
and I'm like,
comma? Is that the weekend?
The
Oxford,
weekend, and it's spelled
Vampire Weekend.
Yeah,
it's Vampire Weekend. Different weekend.
It's just
So
weekend,
sorry.
and it's like a dude.
It's just one dude.
It's just not. Yeah, it's not
Okay.
like it's not like the weekend or like the Go-Go's. It's like the weekend, a guy. I know. I did this research before I came. That's the only reason I know.
Good to know.
And then I thought this year's was fantastic. And a lot of people are like, that is that's a young people's halftime show with Eminem, Dr. Dre, and whatever, and Mary J. Blige. And I'm like, actually, it's a Gen X halftime show. But Mary J. Blige was in a past halftime show, but like 15 years prior, and she was barely, she was one of like 1,000 guests.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't. So that's the bare bones of the halftime show.
That you've knocked out in 45 minutes. Congratulations.
I mean, I could go on. I really recommend.
Is there a dream? Like
I don't know if I am musically qualified anymore to pick who should be next. I thought this one that we just did in 2022 was great.
Do you like it better when it's not a marching band? You like it when there's pageantry?
If they really brought it, like if they let the marching bands do their thing, it would be infinitely better than 80% of what has gone before. So I'm not against the marching bands. And in fact, if you remember with like Beyonce when she had Lemonade come out and all the marching band, and I think Bruno Mars and when they upstaged Coldplay that year, I believe that's when Lemonade was coming out, and I think there was marching band woven into it.
HBCU.
Yeah, the HBCU marching band.
Oh, there you go.
And so, which Grambling State University marching band's HBCU, so is Florida A&M. And so, they're great, but if we're gonna go, first of all, we don't need like Al Hurt and the Elvis Presto and
jetpacks.
The jetpacks and that kind of thing. But we also, like, if you're going to have a star, it needs to be somebody who can really bring it. I actually would watch Britney Spears now. Who would you want?
That is interesting. As I would want the cast of Olaf. The cast of Frozen.
Oh my God. Yeah. Now, this is where Disney could do us a favor.
Right,
and actually do a good one.
Right. If the Super Bowl was held in a winter place,
which it clearly has been,
and they're willing. Now, here's another question I have. The one time when everyone was on ice, 80,
92,
92. That was 92.
Yes, that's what I mean. It took them a long time to catch on.
Right, because the hockey team won in 80. Right, that was
all I can think about is that South Park song. Like, what would Brian Boitano do? That's all I can think about.
Right. Well, so here's my question about 92, though. Did they have to play on the... did they unfreeze it?
I don't know. I'm not into the engineering of it, but they kind of push out the thing and then they bring it back out.
Oh, maybe it's like, have you ever seen, like, in Christmas ornaments, they'll have, like, a skating pond?
Yes.
And it'll be raised, and then maybe they do that, and then they bring it back out.
It was in Minneapolis, so I assume they knew what they were doing. But it wasn't like then the field was wet and we had to wait a few hours.
Right.
It was like it was on
everybody had hair dryers out. Yeah.
Some kind of platform.
Okay. Yeah. And then I always want, what would be nice is sometimes... and this isn't.
We're just spitballing.
We're just spitballing, you guys. But who wouldn't want like a reenactment of something that happened, like I don't know, like a sea battle or something like? It's weird. Football's weird.
They would be in my bit immediately.
Oh my God!
But that would be. If you're asking, would I like that more than the game itself? Yes. But would the fans resoundingly like more LARPing in the football?
Right, like a
historical LARPing. What's that?
The Battle of Thermopylae.
Right, exactly. Just as an off-the-head example from
Roman Empire.
Well, I think they dropped the ball. They could have done like a Hamilton kind of thing. Like they could have.
Now, wait. If you bring Hamilton, I'm on board for this.
Yes,
I'm on board. I don't know if that is going to, the football watching, the people who care about football
Right.
may think differently. I would be all on board of a Hamilton, like a mashup. A Hamilton, like, like
Rent.
Yeah.
The Waitress. I don't know.
So
whatever's-
Broadway.
Yeah, bring Broadway.
I think it would bring in a demographic that they are sorely lacking.
Well, they're clearly trying to reach out to another group.
Right. No, they are.
I mean,
All the time.
There was pandering for the first 25 years.
Yes.
With the Up With People.
Right.
And then afterwards, I think they were trying to do some good pandering.
Right.
Interesting.
They can have Up With People only if Winter Spears is headlining the
I
group.
do wonder if is there anyone on TikTok? Does anyone on TikTok want to tell me anything? Oh, maybe. I don't know. I can't tell. This is my first live TikTok.
Okay.
Why is the Super Bowl always in Miami? That's the question.
Well, because it's usually, it used to be January, but now it's in February, and it's cold, and the rich people with tickets and who are sponsors don't want to be in Iowa in January. They want to be in Miami. They want to go out. They want to have a good time. They want it to be warm. You can extrapolate from there.
Right on. Yes, we are in front of a live. We are in front of a live audience.
We are.
This is a live.
Say hello, live audience.
Hello. Somebody was going to come. User 71 was going to come, but car broke down. Hopefully
that
they can
sucks.
come to the Saturday show.
Okay.
All right, here in Washington D.C. at the D.C. Comedy Loft.
Yeah.
It'll be. Oh, they want grunge bands now.
Oh, you mean like
Kurt Cobain.
well,
He's
no,
dead.
but what?
I didn't kill him.
What
It's
if
not my
Groff?
fault.
The offshoot. Yeah, the Foo Fighters.
It is odd.
Yeah.
Oh, they have not done a flannel theme.
Yeah, that's coming because
Do everything.
as Gen X's get older and
Right,
in
as-
charge of
as-
stuff, that will come.
As we fall into our twilight.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Just long enough to get one grunge halftime show. That's actually an interesting idea. The grunge
Lawrence
halftime.
Welk version.
The Lawrence Welk version of grunge, right? Well, that was Up With People.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And now I will say that if you have not, so I went for years. You might say making fun of these halftime shows,
right.
but I found out very recently in quarantine, when there's even more time for rabbit holing,
Oh yeah.
that the first halftime show producer, Tommy Walker,
Yes.
he served in World War II. He was a kid trumpeter. He was toured Europe and the U.S. in the 30s.
He was a prodigy.
He was a prodigy trumpeter. He was in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. There's like a drum major guy. He's in that. He served in World War II, earned a Bronze Star, enrolled at USC, became.
His trumpet? What did he?
Wait for it.
In World War II, did not play the trumpet.
No, after World War II, he gets a Bronze Star, comes back. When he comes back to the States, he enrolls in USC. It becomes the marching band of USC, University of Southern California.
Director.
Yeah, he's a student. He becomes a marching band drum major with the big stick and stuff. And also, he kicked the extra points for the football team. Do you guys understand what I'm telling you?
He's the kicker.
Like, he would go out there at halftime show with the big hat and the stick and la la la, and then he comes back up into the stands, and then I guess every once in a while, like a coach would run over to the stands and say, "Hey, Tommy, can you come down here and kick this extra point?" And he wore his football uniform under his band outfit and would do like a Superman, Clark Kent and the Superman thing. Yes.
Okay.
And this is before we even get to how he produced this halftime show.
Well, let me back up quickly. What did he win a Bronze Star?
In World War II. I don't know.
Well, they weren't just handing him out.
I know, it's a big deal, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, fair enough. You did not get his war record.
It's
Okay.
gone.
Right.
It's
His
gone.
His war record was not.
Well,
part of
I'm
your
going
record.
to now because I feel like it's going to come up again.
Well, we all want to
I
know.
think we know.
Was he in the Navy? What was he in? Was he in the
We're gonna
Army marching band?
in a few months I'll come back.
Did he throw his silencer? His little.
I don't know. Right, his trumpet. I think it was unrelated to trumpeting. I believe.
I read a book called The Bravest Teenage Yanks. It was about people it was about young men under the age of 18,
Okay.
Under the age of 20, that were in the Civil War, in the Union side of the Civil War, who had won medals of honor, and many of them were drummer boys. And
Okay.
so there was,
I see what you're saying.
there was Arthur
They had to go out in front.
Douglas MacArthur's dad, Arthur MacArthur. Yes,
That's real.
Arthur
I feel like everyone here already knows that fact, but everyone listening will be impressed.
He recovered the troops' colors, their flags, on Missionary Ridge. When he was 19, I would have said just leave them.
Right.
He rode back and he picked them
You know
up.
what? They're just colors.
It's
They're
just a
not
flag.
real.
It's
It's
just a
not
flag.
like
It's not a person.
it's not the Constitution or the
Right.
nuclear codes.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
he graduates. He's such a good kicker that he gets not auditions. What do you have for
Drafted?
football games?
Football draft?
He gets tryouts for football teams.
Right?
But that's never where his heart is. He goes back to USC, becomes the band director, starts putting on quirky halftime shows,
Right?
catches the eye of Disney,
Right?
is their director of entertainment in the brand new Disneyland for years, learns about fireworks, and then after he's at this cushy gig for years, this new halftime show, this new Super Bowl comes knocking, and they're nothing. It's never happened yet. It's not even called the Super Bowl. And they want him to put on a halftime show, here's the theme, with like no money and no help. And he does it. That's where he gets Al Hurt, is his friend in Hollywood, the Green Hornet singer guy, and marching band. And they loved it so much, they brought him back for several halftime shows. And then he went on from there.
It's a triumphant story.
He produced the opening and closing ceremonies for many Olympic Games and other stuff. And then he produced the 1986 Statue of Liberty salute in New York City.
Right?
And achieved great things, which happened. And I'm not going to ruin the rest of the story for you, but it's pretty
Spoiler
poignant.
alert from 1886?
1986.
1986. You can do it.
They wanted to move the fireworks away from the Statue of Liberty I guess they thought putting like fireworks and explosives around the harbor and stuff when the president and people are there
might be unsafe.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
So he called in a favor to the government and got them to put a bunch of Navy SEALs under his direction,
right?
So they could keep the harbor safe and keep his fireworks
Waved his
display.
bronze star.
Guess he did.
Look at you people.
Kept his his firework display, his biggest gig ever, intact.
Safe.
It was amazing, and then he died 2 months later. But he had achieved his dream.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
this has been a live Dork Forest. I'm talking with Blaire Postman. It is Postman Comedy, spelled just like Postman Comedy on Instagram. We're doing shows all weekend here at the DC Comedy Loft here in Washington, D.C. This has been a fascinating, you know what we call this in the podcasting industry? We call this plug and play. Where I didn't have to do jack. And you were amazing.
Oh, thank you
so much.
Thank you. Anytime.
And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?